Hello, quote artisans. My name is Shonda, and welcome to my channel Under the Needle. So I'm here for Thankful Thursday, and I was supposed to be home. Not often, but sometimes I have to travel for work. And when I do, it's just a quick turnaround. I fly in on a Wednesday, and then I fly home the next day. And so that's what I was doing. So I had court this morning, and court ended early. I was like, cool. And my flight wasn't until 5:20. So which kind of sucked a little bit because I had to wait because we got out of court super early. So I was at the airport sitting down to get something to eat at 1:30. And my flight wasn't supposed to board until like almost 5 o'clock. Was it almost 5 o'clock? Something, I don't know, something. 5:15. Yeah, I think it was like 5:15 was it was supposed to start boarding. And about 4:30, I got a text message that my flight was canceled. Apparently, there was a bunch of cancellations on the Eastern Coast and LaGuardia, or New York City specifically. So I guess JFK also. But a lot of Delta flights, and I generally fly Delta, a lot of Delta flights were canceled on the East Coast. And my flight was affected. And I couldn't get another flight until tomorrow morning. So my next flight is tomorrow at 6 a.m. And I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm not a morning person. I mean, I usually don't crack my eyes open until like 8:30, right? So occasionally 7:30, but so to have to be downstairs in the lobby at 4:30 a.m. is going to be difficult for me. So I'm probably going to take a shower and sleep in my clothes that I'm wearing tomorrow. That way, even if I don't wake up right away, at least I'm already dressed, everything's already packed, and all I have to do is grab my suitcase and go. 4:30 is exceptionally early for me, and my body's not used to that. And it's already 9:30 now because I'm not tired yet. Because I don't go to sleep this early. I normally go to sleep around 11:30. So this is really early. So I don't know when I'm going to be able to fall asleep. I'm just going to set lots of alarms. So today I am thankful for alarms. I've got multiple alarms set on my phone. I've got an alarm set on this hotel clock here because I'm gonna need all of them. My goal is to get up at 4:30 so I have time to wash my face and brush my teeth. That would be great before I get on this flight. I was not prepared to be here an extra day. I'm a type of person who normally when I travel, I don't know if this is too personal, but normally when I travel, I bring 2 pair of underwear for every day that I'm gone, plus 1 extra pair. Like if I'm going away for like a week, if I'm going away for like 3 or 4 days, I'd probably just bring double. But I was literally going for 1 night and I was like, I'm gonna be fine. And so for the first time in my life, I did not pack an extra pair of underwear. And so here I am without underwear. So, you got to do what you got to do where you wash them out in the sink. I'm just praying they're dry in the morning. The worst thing in the world, well, not the worst thing in the world, but it's pretty horrible when you have to wash your underwear out in the sink and they don't dry in time and they're still kind of damp when you put them on the next day. That's like not good. So I've got them like kind of like over the vent. So I'm hoping, I'm hoping things go well. I'm in New York. I think I said LaGuardia, but I don't know if all of you know where that is. So I'm in New York, and it was great. I have not been to this part of the city in decades. So it was kind of nice to be in Manhattan and stuff like that. Right now the initial hotel that I stayed in was across the street from the 9/11 memorial, which was great because I hadn't gotten to see that before. So it was kind of good to be able to see that and to explore that part of the city. That was nice. I did tons of walking. I think the only thing I missed about, not the only thing, but I do like the food in the city, because I was born and raised in New York, not here in New York City, but about an hour north. I if you could take a train and be in White Plains in an hour. So, and that's where I was born and raised. And so I miss the food and I miss the hustle and bustle. But I could never live here. I would like to spend a month or two in the city and just kind of do whatever I want to do and then go home. That's what I would like. So, yeah, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know if it's menopause hormones. But when I got the text that I wasn't going home, I cried in the airport. Like, I cried actual tears. Like, I don't know what happened. And I think it was because it had just been, it's, when you do a trip like that, it's a lot in a very short time. Right? Because yesterday I'm up at, let's see, my flight, we left the house at 7:15. Right? So I got up about 6. Actually, no, that's not true, because I had work to do before I left. So I got up at 5. And I did some work. And then we left the house at 7:15, and I was stressed because there was more traffic than I was expecting. And I was afraid of missing the plane because boarding was going to start at, I think boarding was going to start at 8:25. And the flight was going to leave at 8:55. And my ETA for getting to the airport was 8:25. And on domestic flights, they will board up to 15 minutes before the flight time. So that means I had until 8:40. So I'm pulling up at 8:25, and I've got to get through TSA and to my gate by 8:45. So that's 20 minutes. Now, I fly out of RDU Airport in Raleigh, and sometimes it's busy and it'll take you 30 minutes to get through TSA. And sometimes, most of the time, it's pretty dead in there and you can get through. But, even on an average day, it might take 10 minutes. But there was literally nobody in TSA. I didn't even have to wait in line. It took me longer to walk through all of, because you know how they have the lines roped off so that you stay in your designated, so that you stay in line. It took me longer to get through all of that than it did for me to actually go through TSA. So I was able to get through TSA and to my gate, and my gate was like right there. Like in these larger airports, once you go through TSA, you might have to take a train, you might have to take a this, you might have to take a that, you might have to walk 15 minutes to get to your gate. Not RDU, it's just small. But my specific gate was literally, as soon as you come out of TSA, you go down the escalator and boom, my gate was right there on the left. So, because it was gate 1. So I was able to get through TSA and get to my gate in 5 minutes. So that was great. So I was able to board. I was literally the last person to board. No, I take it back. There was one person behind me. So, yeah, that was that. So the stress of that, and then, flying and then getting here, and then, my flight got in at like 10:45, and it was early, so it got in at 10:30. So I got in at 10:30. My boss and my coworker weren't getting in until like 1:30. So I had to sit at the airport for 3 hours because there wasn't a later flight. The only way I could get to the airport at the same time that they were getting to the airport was if I took 2 planes. So why would I take 2 planes to get there later when I'd be leaving at the same time. I'd be departing at the same time, taking 2 planes to get there later, to get there when they got there. That just seemed ridiculous to me, to do a layover and schlep through another airport. So I just took the nonstop flight, and got there and just had to sit in the airport for 3 hours. So then, they arrive, and then, we walk to get a car, and then we have to ride to the hotel, which in the traffic takes forever. And the cost of the damn cab. The cost of the cab was with I think it was $96 with the tip. That's a lot of money. And we didn't go that far. It's just cabs are expensive out here. And depending on where the cab goes, it will automatically charge you certain things. So like if there's traffic, they'll charge you a congestion fee. And if depending on where you go, it's like, oh, if there's tolls, of course, then you get charged the tolls. So yeah, it was pretty pricey. And then once we got there, I immediately wanted to explore before dinner. We were going to have dinner at 5:30. And so I wanted to kind of get out, do some walking around, do some exploring. So I did that. And then I went back to the room, and then we went to dinner. I'm thinking and of course we're walking everywhere. So we walked to dinner. And then afterwards, I'm thinking we're just going to go straight back to the room, which is what I wanted to do. But not they. One of them wanted to like kind of take a walk and explore, and I'm like, I already did that. I'm tired now. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go lay down now. I'm ready to go to my room and relax. I don't want to do any of that. But we ended up doing some more walking, and it was, it's not the hottest in New York right now, but it was still pretty warm. And so, we get back to the room, and I'm just tired. And I think I went to sleep about, 10:30 or something like that. I was tired. We're up the next morning. We're, of course, we didn't have to walk to court. We took a cab to court because it was too far. And we were going to take the subway, which I'm glad we didn't. Because it was pretty warm. It was pretty warm already in the morning. So we got a cab instead of taking the subway. And that was fine. And then we had court. And it's so hot. Like the actual courtroom that we're in isn't hot, but the building is hot. And so you're hot and then cold, and hot and cold, depending on how you're moving around the building. And then we got out of court super early. And my flight wasn't until 5:20, and I couldn't get an earlier flight. And so I'm at the airport. I told you I'm at the airport at my gate, and I'm waiting for 3 hours before I find out I'm not going home. And during those, probably for like that entire time, I was on the phone with my fiance. We're just kind of chatting on the phone, and we're making plans. We're making plans about, today is the first football days, it's game 1 of the football season was today, and he had made some pigs in blankets and some fries, and he was going to cook me a steak because he knows I love steak. And so we're talking about our plans that we're going to hang out and stuff. And then when I got that message, I just boo-hooed for a little bit, and then I put my big girl panties on, and because my flight wasn't the only one who got canceled. The person my boss, she flew American, so she wasn't impacted. She got on her flight, but me and my coworker, we were impacted. So at least I'm not like completely by myself, which it wouldn't have mattered because we don't hang out or anything like that. But we shared a cab to a different hotel. He knows the area better than me, so he was like, "Let's do this hotel." And so we want to kind of stay at the same hotel and get kind of similar flight times just to minimize how much money we have to spend. Even though it's not our personal money, you still, because it's not cheap out here. I mean, this is a basic hotel room. I'm at a Hilton in Midtown, New York. We're right next to Radio City Music Hall. Great location. Fantastic location. But this hotel is it's just pretty basic. Let me see if I can show. Yeah, we got a bed. There's some stuff over there packed. We watching the game, a little salad. Basic room, no bells. $400 a night. I'm never visiting this place on my own dime. $400 a night for a basic hotel room? Outrageous. So I didn't want to not make a video because I've missed so many Thankful Thursday videos and I post them late. So I didn't want to do that. So I just decided to film a quick video on my phone and upload it from the hotel. I am having myself a large glass of rosé, after which I'll probably turn off all of these lights and try to at least rest, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to fall asleep. But maybe if I get in the bed and I turn all these lights out, I'll be okay. One good thing, I got a lot of steps in. I'm normally pretty sedentary. Even if I'm working out, I don't get that many steps in. But I think yesterday I got, I don't know, maybe almost 13,000. And today I am at 8,110. And that's a lot for me. And I do like that about the city, is that when you're going someplace close, like you don't drive, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Because by the time you find some place to park, you're going to have to walk just as far if you had just walked in the beginning. So I wanted to get some street food for dinner. So I had walked to, a little place to get some food. And craziest thing, right? So I put in my GPS, to try to find some food. And all these restaurants start coming up. And, Google Maps will give you a price range for the restaurant. And some of the restaurants, they were like $100 plus. Well, my job isn't paying for a $100 meal. And I don't blame them. So I was trying to look for something a bit more economical. And I mean, I could have ate here at the hotel, but I really just wanted some street food. And so I found this place that sold, like gyros and gyro plates and stuff like that. And so I put it in the GPS and it's like, oh yeah, it's only a 4-minute walk. I'm like, cool, great. And so I go and I'm walking and the GPS is like rerouting because you've passed it. And I'm like, I haven't seen it. I'm looking. It's a food truck. I was looking for a building. It's a food truck. It's actually 3 food trucks. So there's like one that's kind of like a stand for all the drinks. And then they had 2 where they like cook the meat and veggies and all that stuff. I'm in line waiting to eat. And all of a sudden everybody started running. And when I say running, like they were running. And I had no idea what was going on, but I took off running. And I've got my Crocs on. They're not in sports mode. And I'm trying to run for my life and not come out of my Crocs. And then I look back, and it's just flames. Like flames. Like probably the flame was as tall as I was. And it's because it wasn't coming from the ground. I realized after the fact, because I didn't know what was going on. I just knew everybody was running and I should run too. Life lesson. If everybody's running, run. So I start running. And then afterwards, when they get the fire extinguisher and they put the fire out and I look, then I can see what happened. I guess one of the grills caught fire. So they had a whole grill, 2 grills where they were cooking meat and veg. And one of them, I guess, just burst into flames. And so the reason why the fire looked so high was because the fire wasn't coming from the ground. It was coming from the stove, which was higher up. But because I'm like, the fire is the height of a person. But it wasn't really. It just, the fire was not on the ground. But I couldn't tell that at the time. So yeah, that was an experience. That was an experience. That was an interesting time. And I was on the phone at the time. And so all he hears me say, I'm like, holy shit. And I'm running and he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, there was a fire. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, the grill just burst into flames. Anyway, oh shoot. Love New York. Happy to visit Can't wait to go home. Sucks to have to get up at 4:30 in the morning, but at least I have all of these alarm clocks, which I am thankful for. So that is it for me, and I'll see you guys next video, and I will tell you some of the stuff I've been sewing, because I have done some stuff. So